Okay, we're back. There's a few notes that I would like to go through before we continue on with the tutorial. So like I said before, this this file that I put in the comments for the YouTube video is an MD file, and it's an instruction file that Claude Code uses, and you can open it up with a text editor. It actually looks better if you use Notepad++ to open it up. So I downloaded Notepad++, and we'll just open that up with that. And it's got some more more formatting, and it's kind of more pleasant to read. So let's scroll down. We are at part 5. And that's this part right here. So we need to create a branch and solve an issue with AI. So if we go to the OpenStudio application repository and you click on issues, you can see all of the issues here. We're going to be working through this issue right here, 857. Yeah. So this was actually brought over from the OpenStudio, the original OpenStudio repository, which was developed by the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, and that was before it was spun off and taken custody by the nonprofits. So this user right here and encountered some issues. Evidently, what they were doing was they were sending just the OSM file to some colleagues, and when you do that, it loses a lot of information that the model, the OpenStudio model, relies on to successfully run the application. So I added some comments on this issue. It looked like there was basically 3 items that the user was interested in implementing. Namely, one of the items was that maybe there should be a way to export it such that it packages everything needed to create an input to run the file. So basically all of the inputs. And that's probably a good practice. You wouldn't want to send the outputs, output files. There could be a lot of information in output files, and that takes up a lot of space. So just sending the input files is probably a good idea. So I suggested a solution for that. And then there's also another issue here where what happens is once you implement the geometry using floorplan.js and then you do some changes to it, you can't go back to floorplan.js because it's either locked in or if you send the file to some colleagues, sometimes this floorplan.json file gets dropped and it's missing. And in that case, it also locks the user out too. So you'll see that here where this new button gets locked out. And that's for good reason, because what happens is if you try to create a new floorplan.js or floorspace.js file, that would completely overwrite your geometry in the model, or it would merge the geometry, and that could cause a lot of errors. So we're going to address those two, and then the user was asking about showing some warnings during load time, and I kind of go into a description as to why that would be problematic and would not really work with how OpenStudio operates. So I would suggest when you look at these issues, you try to troubleshoot first, and then you could add some comments in here as to what you think the issue is and what a possible solution would look like, and that way it's kind of documented. And then when we go to do AI will read this and work through the issues with you. So with that said, let's go to the project folder. And the repository. And we're going to open up a command prompt and go to that folder and open up Claude. Now, when you've opened up Claude, after not having Claude open, I think I went through this before, you can just do /resume, and it will come up with conversations that you have had. Oh, sorry. We were using Claude in the root folder, which was projects. So let's escape here, do exit. And then go down one directory to projects and then open up Claude. And then resume. And it will bring up all of your previous sessions. So we only have one here. This is the tutorial. So we're going to click this, and this is going to open it up. Now, this is saying that the session is it's a couple of days old, and it's at 100,000 tokens, which is a lot of memory. So every time you ask Claude a question or you follow up with something, Claude rereads everything over and over again. And so it starts to build up after a while. And once you get to this many tokens, Claude is rereading a lot of stuff that it doesn't need to reread. So normally what you can do is resume from a summary, or you can resume as a full session if there's crucial information that's way, way, way back here that you still want to work on. But generally, Claude does a good job of summarizing this. And I think the summary doesn't necessarily have some of these, all of the coding in here, but it does sort of a summary of what was changed in the code. So that, that greatly reduces the tokens. So, and then let's just do, we'll just resume from summary. Oh, sorry. Looks like we're not logged in. Okay, we're logged back in. So, right. So let's continue with part 5. Okay, so Claude is saying, let's first create a branch off of develop. And so right now what we have compiled is is the develop. So it's basically a clone of exactly what the OpenStudio coalition has for their current develop. Now, when you work on features and you work on solving issues, you want to create a branch off of that, and that sort of containerizes all of your changes. It tracks all of the changes, and then you can use all of that branch to submit those changes for a proposed fix. And then once that fix gets approved and combined into the OpenStudio, the main repository, you can just delete that branch off of your repository because you don't need it anymore. It's either been approved or it's been rejected. So you always want to do your fixes on a branch. Yes. Okay. Now Claude wants to read the issues on this particular issue on GitHub. Yes. Okay. He wants to read all of the comments. Okay. So this is saying that Claude has a clear understanding of what's going on, and basically he's taking my recommendations from directly from the comment, my comment on the issue. Now he's trying to solve it. Okay. So he's saying there's two parts to the fix. One is enabling the new button to always stay enabled, and then add a warning if the user clicks that button. Right? So this is the proposed code change. He's editing the geometry editor view C++ file. So we'll accept this. Do you want to make the change? Yes. So this is adding the warning box. Okay, so that's it. Now he's suggesting that we do an incremental rebuild. So that's just rebuilding with the files that we have. It's not a complete rebuild, so it shouldn't take too long. Yes? Okay, so it's rebuilding in the background with a shell, and he's just showing you a summary of what we did here. All right, so it says it's succeeded. Now we need to test it, open the app, and navigate to the geometry editor, and then verify that this new button is enabled. And if we already have geometry in the model, it should give us a warning. So let's go ahead and do that. One thing I didn't do before was it's kind of helpful to create a shortcut in the start menu for this. So let's open this up and go to here. This is the executable. So let's pin this to the start menu. Oh, let's see. Maybe we should create a shortcut. Show more options. Create shortcut. Okay, and let's move this out into our. Let's move this out into our projects folder, and we're gonna go OpenStudio app testing. And then we'll pin this to the start. So now when we do the start menu, it should pop up OpenStudio app testing. So now you can just open up the app, that the current build that you're working on anytime. So let's go ahead and, so this is a blank model. Let's go ahead and create an example model and click save. And let's just save this in our projects folder. Issue 857 testing. Okay. All right. And that should have, yeah, testing. So now, yeah, it doesn't recognize how to open an OSM file. So we can do open with, choose an app on your PC, and then we can use this right here. And then just do always. Okay, so we actually have 2 sessions open, so we can close this one, discard. So it should have created sort of a simple model. Yeah, I didn't like that. All right. Should have created a simple model. Right now I've got some rendering issues on my computer with this, but you should see the geometry pop up with a simple building. But we can go to verify that this has geometry in it by going to spaces. So it does have spaces. It does have a lot of surfaces. It's got some shading surfaces, and it's even got some building shading surfaces here. So it does in fact have the geometry. My viewer is just not working. So let's go to the editor tab, and you can see that this new button right here is now, it's not grayed out anymore. If you look in the comment, it used to be grayed out, and that's and now it's not. So if we try to create a new FloorSpace.js file, it's going to overwrite all of that existing geometry that we have. And so we'll click it, and yes, it does pop up with this new warning menu. This is what Claude just created. And it's saying that creating a new FloorSpace.js floor plan may result in conflicting geometry. Do you want to continue? And it really should be stronger wording. It should say this will delete all existing geometry. Let's add that. Okay, he's going to add that. This model has existing geometry. Creating a new floor space will delete all existing geometry. Do you want to continue? So that's a lot stronger wording. So we'll click yes. We're going to have to close this to allow it to rebuild. So yeah, I always want to make sure you close the application before you rebuild it. So now Claude's asking to rebuild, and we'll say yes. Okay, it's completed. Let's go ahead and reopen this. Should be able to just reopen this testing file that we had before. And let's go to the Geometry tab, Editor, click the new. All right, so it's going to delete everything. Do you want to continue? We'll say yes. And this creates basically a new floor space JS for us. And we'll just merge it with OSM, and then go to the editor. We'll click yes, merge. It's merged, and let's check to see if we have any geometry. No, we don't. Yeah, all of the surfaces, shading, basically everything got deleted. So that's a good to have that warning there. However, all of the existing space types and loads and all of the other library stuff is still in there. So all you have to do is recreate or create new geometry, and you can apply those to that new geometry. So that's it. So let's just hit commit this. So that's the solution to the issue number 1 on this issue. Yes. Okay, it's asking to stage these changes. So everything gets staged first before it actually gets written as a commit. So because sometimes you would stage them, and then sometimes you might want to unravel some of those staged items because you change your mind on something. But we're going to click yes. And then now that they're staged, Claude is asking to do a commit, and so that's just going to write. That's going to write the changes and save this new commit as a copy and a documentation of everything that was changed and a short description. So we'll click yes. Okay, so now Claude is saying, look, we cloned this repository, we didn't fork it. So once GitHub has lifted our restrictions off of forking, we can then just push this. And when Claude says push, that means our commits that we have done are on, so those copies, those changes that we've done are on our local computer, but they're not on github.com. So if you want to put them on github.com, you use the push. And then once they're pushed to github.com, you can open a new PR with OpenStudio Coalition and include that branch that you have with those changes as a proposal to fix this. But there is one issue here. There's one other item that Claude missed, and this is the item number 2. Item number 1, actually. So Claude was working on the second one, so he kind of skipped over this one. So let's just go back and let's address the moves other comments. Okay. So the first comment is what I was suggesting. Everything gets packaged into sort of a zip file that you can send to your colleagues. And then this one, This one has to do with warning the user when they open it up. And then, yeah. Let's tackle number one. Let's tackle one. Okay. And then while Claude's doing that, I'll just describe this. So right now, what we have for exporting is exporting as an IDF, GBXML, or an STD. So the proposal I had was that we add one more category here. It would export as a zip file with everything needed for doing inputs in OpenStudio itself. And that's something that you could send to your colleagues. It includes the weather files, the measures that you use, and all of that, or even the JSON files. Okay, so Claude has actually found a small zip application that can be used that's already actually being used in OpenStudio. So we're just going to make use of that. And he's suggesting that we make these changes on these 3 files. Okay, he's suggesting that, here we go, export OSM package right here. So we already have export SDD, export GBXML, and then, or no, there's another one, export IDD, but that must be further up in the list. But we'll click yes. All right. So he's made all the changes and he's asking to rebuild, adding this export feature on here. Let's close the application and rebuild. And the summary is added OSM package to the file export menu. This had wired it through to the window layer, and then implemented this mini zip with all of these companion files that were suggested. This was linked to a library. All right. So it looks like the build completed, and we just need to test it. So let's go back to the OSM file that we were used for testing. And let's go ahead and set a weather file for this. And I believe this also had a measure on it. Yes, it does. And let me see. I believe it also had, no, it didn't have a floor space file on it. But let's go ahead and test this. So it should bring in the OpenStudio workflow, the measure, and the weather file in the export. So here we go. Yes. So it's added an export OSM package here. and we'll just save it. And it's going to, yes, it exported successfully to a zip file. So let's go back and open up the zip file. Okay, we've got the OSM file. And okay. And we've got the measure. But we don't have the weather file. Okay. So that did not get exported. So let's take a look. Plus any files and measures run. Oh, let me see. Maybe we didn't save it. Let's go ahead and yeah, looks we didn't save it. So let's save it and try exporting again. Place it, yes. Zip file. Let's try the zip file again. Okay. So it's got the weather file in here, and then it's also got the measure in here. There is no OpenStudio workflow file. That's probably because we have not run the OSM file. So let's quickly go ahead and run this measure. So this should create an OSW file for us. Yes, it did. OSW. Now let's try to export it again. And now we can open up that zip file and check that out right here, and open up the folder. Okay, so it exported a run. We have a bunch of input files. Strange we don't have an OSW file in here. We should have an OSW file. So, that's important. Okay. We need to also include the .osw files. We'll close this. Okay. Fixes also include files at the companion folder root level 2. All right. Yes. Okay, rebuild. Okay, the rebuild was successful. Let's test it again. Let's go, yeah, I suspect it's saving everything. So we will, let's test it anyway, but open up the file. Let's do export package, zip file, replace it. Okay, let's check out the zip file. Yeah, okay. It's exporting all of this stuff. We actually don't want all of this run information in here. We just want the basic input files, which is the OSW file, the measures, and the weather file. So we need to tell Claude that. Okay. We only need the basic input files. That includes the EPW file, the whole measures folder, the workflow OSW, and the floor plan JSON file. All the other files are not used as inputs for OpenStudio. So, all right, so Claude's going to make some changes here. All right, and he's asking to rebuild. So yeah, these are the things that you'll encounter, and Claude will sometimes, make some assumptions for things, and if we were looking closely at a little bit closer at what Claude was doing, we might have caught that. We might not. But at any rate, we do catch it with testing. So it's important to do testing when you do this. Oh, and we need to close the app. Always have to close the app. Okay, the rebuild was successful. Let's go ahead and take a look at that again. Let's open this and export package, save it, replace it. Okay. And that should have only exported those few files and folders that we needed. So let's check out the zip file now. And yes, it's got the weather file. It's got all of the measures. And it has the OSW file. And that's all we needed. Okay, I guess one more test we could do would be to test it with a floor space JS file. Let's go ahead and do that. And we can actually even use that new feature that we just created to delete the geometry. Let's go to editor, click new. Yes, delete everything, continue. We'll create a new floor plan and we'll just draw something here. Let's see. And I'll just create a new space here. All right, and we'll just merge it. Models merged, okay. Let's go to the editor, merge it, yes, okay. And we should have a couple of spaces here now, and we should have a floor space JSON file, and we're just going to override it, yes. Let's just double check. Yeah, so we do have a floor plan.json this time. So let's test the export again. Export it to a zip file. Okay. And now we can look in the zip folder. And yes, it did save the floor plan.json. So all right, so our testing is completed with that. So great job, everyone. We've added a couple of features to this and addressed one of the user's issues on the OpenStudio application website on GitHub. And with that, what we can do is go ahead and commit this. So yeah, sometimes it's good to do multiple commits. So the first feature we did a commit, and then this last one with a zip file, we're doing another commit. And so that way you can pick and choose which, or sorry, the OpenStudio Coalition programming guys can decide if they want to take both features or if they just want to go with one of the features. And if that's the case, then they would just accept one of the commits and not both of them. So let's commit this. All right, so we've committed. The branch has 2 commits. Both address this issue. When the fork restriction lifts, you can push and open the PR. Would you like to tackle the third item? So we're not going to tackle the third item because, as I noted in my comments, I think that would open up more problems than it solves. And I don't think that there's a lot of utility with that, given that we've put in these 2 options here. So let's see if we can push it. All right, so Claude is asking to check our configured remotes. So Claude is going to try to fork again. Let's try it. All right, so it's still blocking us. Yeah, and he's suggesting that we fork it manually. I think what we need to do is let's create can we create our own repository? With some simple stuff in it. Yes. Let's put this branch in a new repository with README. Discussing the issue and the solution. So he's going to create a new repository. Oh, okay. Let's see. There's a problem with the username. Oh, Claude didn't know what the username was. Okay, click yes. Okay, yeah, create the README. All right, and commit it. Okay, now we need to add the new repo as a remote and push the branch. Yes. All right, so now it's live. Contains all of the work that we did here, plus the README, and then Yeah. So I suspect that what's going on is GitHub wants to see you completing some basic repository steps on your repository, such as creating your own repository. And repository can be anything. It's just basically a file storage system that tracks the revisions of your files. So you can certainly add other documents in here, Word documents and all kinds of other stuff. But generally it's designed for programming, but you can add all kinds of stuff in here. And if you want to keep track of changes to those documents. So here's our new repository that we created, and it drops it in here and adds, yeah, oh, okay, this is, so this is a totally independent repository of the application. So that this actually is a total fix for that issue. Yeah, I'm not sure if we could add a PR on this or not, but if we go to the OpenStudio Coalition branch or develop, and maybe we can fork it now. Fork, create a new fork. Okay, so GitHub still has some limits on here. So yeah, so there's really only three people that are working on this right now. Yeah, I'm not sure why, other than it's basically a brand new GitHub account. So I think that's something that we would have to take up with GitHub. Unfortunately, that's kind of out of the scope of this tutorial. Having said that, we have successfully completed the tutorial with the exception of this fork issue. So that's how you can help contribute to OpenStudio using AI. So basically trying to tackle these issues and working with AI to develop solutions, and then proposing solutions to the issues. So to propose a solution, you would go to pull requests on the OpenStudio Coalition's repository, and then just create a new pull request. And in fact, yeah, you would if you just follow through the steps of the tutorial, you can also have AI do that as well. So there you go. I hope that was helpful, and look forward to seeing you all in the future, helping to contribute to this great software. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.